Hi, welcome. This will be a 25-minute power flow. So great if you don't have a lot of time, but you want to move a lot and create some heat and feel like you've kind of achieved something and done something. We'll be moving around in a circle, a little bit of a mandala flow. But yeah, I hope you enjoy it. And we'll start in a comfortable seat. Begin to close down the eyes. Just resting your hands on your knees and taking a few moments to connect with your breath. Steady, long breaths in and out through the nose. This is a good moment to tap into your Ujjayi breathing if that's in your practice. And get really expansive with the breath, so you're taking it into the belly, the front of the rib cage, the sides and the back body as well. Begin to just jut the chin forward slightly and then draw the chin down towards the chest, opening up through the back of the neck. Draw the shoulders down. And then roll your head over to the right. Draw the left shoulder down. Coming back through center and over to the other side. And then bringing the head back up. Open the eyes. Interlace the fingers and then just push the hands out. So palms are facing out. And then bring the arms up. Try not to flare in the front ribs, so you're using the mobility of your shoulders as opposed to your back to get into this stretch. Really push the palms of the hands up. And then take them over to the right. So you're leaning over to the right. Find this big stretch in the left side body. And then come up through center and over to the other side. Back up and release the hands. And then just bring the fingertips onto the shoulders and begin to make big circles with the elbows. And then change direction. Good. And then just lean forward, plant the hands down in front of you and walk the hands out as far as feels appropriate for you. So some of you will be up here still. Some of you might be able to bring your forearms down. And a few of you might be able to just bring yourself all the way down, planting the forehead on the ground. Keep the hips grounding. Breathe into the back body. And then slowly make your way back up. Place your hands behind you, lean back just enough for you to switch the cross of your legs. And then we'll do that again. Walk the hands forward. Take deep breaths into the back body. Let the head be heavy. And then come out. And we'll come into our tabletop. So shoulders stacking above wrists, hip joint stacking above the knee joint. And we'll take a couple of cat-cows here to warm up through the spine. So inhale, drop the belly, tailbone and head lifts up towards the ceiling. And exhale to round. Inhale. Exhale, round. Inhale. Exhale, round. And then for the last couple, we'll bring a little bit more movement into this. So as you inhale, tuck under all 10 toes and maybe sit the hips back towards the heels. Find space in the chest. And then as you exhale, untuck the toes, round the spine, push into the tops of the feet, maybe lift the knees up a couple of inches off the ground, really push into the hands. Do a couple more of those. So inhale, tuck the toes under, sit the hips back, arch the spine, space at the throat. Exhale, round, untuck the toes, push into the tops of the feet, lift the knees up, push into the hands. Good, one more, tuck under the toes, come into your cow pose, sit the hips back, a little stretch for the toes, and then last one, exhale, push into the tops of the feet, good, and then come back to neutral, tuck under all 10 toes, and come up to your downward facing dog. So hands are at shoulder width, feet are at hip width. Let's pedal out the feet. Any movements here that feel nice, or you can just stay static, it's up to you. Wherever you are, just walk the feet in about a footprint and then take them to about mat width. Coming in for a little bit of a twisting posture. So bring the right hand to the outside of the left leg. So you're either going to grab hold of the calf or maybe you can reach the ankle. And then we're just going to draw ourselves underneath our left armpit for a little twist. And place the right hand back and move on to the other side. So left hand comes to the outside of the right calf or the ankle, and then you're just going to draw yourselves underneath your right armpit. And release. And then just begin to walk the feet up to the front of the mat, taking our ragdoll. So you can just be loose and heavy here. You can bend into the knees if you want a little bit more release in the lower back. Taking opposite elbow with opposite hand. And again, free movement here, so you can sway from side to side, bending into one knee and then the other. Just be aware that you're not holding any tension in the neck. Just be heavy here in our Uttanasana ragdoll variation. And then release the arms and slowly, slowly begin to roll up to a stand. So stacking vertebrae one by one. Last thing to come up will be your head. And once you get there, just roll the shoulders open. And we'll come into our sun salutations. We'll take 2 sun salutation A's and 1 B. This will create a lot of heat for us to be able to come into our mandala flow afterwards. So coming to the front of your mat, breath to movement here. So take a big inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to your halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to plank. For the first one, everyone take their knees down. And as you exhale, come all the way down, bend into the elbows. Elbows brush the rib cage, so you're really tucking them in. And then as you inhale, coming up to a baby cobra, little back bend. And then exhale through tabletop, all the way back to down facing dog. Get nice and long in the spine in your down dog. So we're not worrying too much about trying to get the heels down to the ground or trying to have the legs straight. We're more worried about the length in the spine and keeping it nice and straight. So if that means that you have a bend in the knees and you're up on the toes, then that's totally fine. Bring the feet together. Come all the way up onto the toes, bend into the knees, look forward to the front of your mat, and then step or walk up to the front as you exhale. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep the arms up and over, tall mountain. Exhale, hands through heart center. Second round, inhale, tall mountain. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, this time option to jump back to chaturanga if that's in your practice. Inhale, you can take up dog or cobra, so knees up or down. And exhale, down facing dog. Please modify as you need to. It's not necessary to do any jumping back or forward if it's not in your practice. One more breath here. And then bring the feet together. Come up all the way up onto the toes, bend into the knees, look forward. This time option to hop to the front of the mat, or step, or walk. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands through heart center. Now we'll do our one sun salutation beat. Inhale to chair. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step or hop to chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra, shoulders away from ears. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, bring it in between the hands. Back heel spins down, coming up into warrior one. Inhale, square hips. Exhale, bring the hands down, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Other side, inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, bring it in between the hands, spin that back heel down. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, hands come down, step back, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Good. Coming into our downward facing dog for a couple of breaths before we start our standing sequence. Reconnect with your breath. Try and lengthen it out if it got short. And then we'll begin. Inhale, right leg lifts. Bend the knee, open the hip. So knee is shooting up towards the ceiling and right heel is trying to come in towards the right glute. Straighten out the leg, square off the hips, and then step the right foot in between the hands. Keep the left hand where it is, coming into our easy twist. So right hand comes up, stack right shoulder on top of left shoulder. Keep the right hip hugging in so we're not lifting up in that right hip. Good. And then from here, arms stay in the same shape, but we're bringing the shoulders above hips. So we're coming up for our twisting lunge. You're welcome to stay here or continue. Coming back, taking the right hand to the back of the left leg, coming into our revolved reverse warrior. That's a mouthful. And then bring the hands down, come onto the inside of the right foot, and then we're spinning to our Skandasana, side lunge. So your Skandasana doesn't have to look like this. You can have the heel lifted if that's more comfortable for you, or you can be all the way up here if that's better for you. I'm going to coming through center, so you can use your hands on the ground to help you with your balance or keep them at heart center. Really strong legs coming through center and all the way to the other side, Skandasana to the left. And then we'll come up through center again, 5-pointed star. Take up space, feet are at 10 and 2. And then warrior 2 to the back of the mat. So left leg leading. Settle in, get nice and low, nice deep bend in this front knee, shoulders away from ears. And then flip over that front hand, inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, spin the hands down, frame the left foot at the back of the mat, and then step the left foot back, plank. And then from our plank, we're coming into side plank on the right. So you can either come straight into side plank, or you can modify by bringing the left foot to the center of the mat and coming into side plank with a support. You can also have both legs straight and stagger your feet if that is helpful for balance. Wherever you are, push the hips up and make sure that this left hip isn't leaning back. Take an inhale to plank and exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Okay, same leg. I'm going to be flowing back to the front of the mat. So inhale, right leg lifts. Bend the knee, open the hip. This time, I'll give you the option to flip the dog and come into wild thing. If you're going to do that, you're going to take that right foot behind you, set it down, come onto the outside edge of the left foot, and then really push the hips up, and the right arm sweeps up and over. Wild thing. Nice opening for the front body. Transitioning back to our three-legged dog. So get low in the hips just to help you, give you space to put that hand back down. Three-legged dog. Set the right foot in between the hands, coming in for our easy twist. So left hand stays where it is, right arm sweeps up, and then coming in for that transition. So really get strong in the legs and begin to rise. You can stay here or you can continue and come into that revolved reverse warrior. And then bring the hands down and little rotation, bringing you to Skandasana on the right. Come up through center, Skandasana to the left. Come up through center, 5-pointed star. And then warrior 2 back to the front of the mat. So left leg leading. Flip the front hand over, inhale to reverse, and exhale, plant the hands. This time when we come into our side plank, you can come into whatever variation you went into last time, or if you want to try for a different transition, you can start in low lunge, take your peace fingers around your left big toe, and come into side plank, taking that foot with you. And then you can either stay here or maybe you push up into the hips and straighten through the left leg. Wherever you are, inhale to plank. Exhale down, coming down through chaturanga. Inhale up dog or cobra, and exhale downward facing dog. Okay, a couple of breaths here before we start on our left side. My mat keeps slipping around. So same flow, left side. Inhale, left leg lifts. Bend into the knee, open the hip. Really try to shoot the knee up and then draw the left heel into the left glute. Keep the shoulders square. Straighten out the leg, square off the hips, and then bring the left foot in between the hands. Right hand stays where it is. Inhale, sweep the left hand up for easy twist. Keep hugging this left hip in. Stacking the shoulders, you can gaze up at the top thumb and then really get strong in the legs. Keep the arms in the same shape until they come up parallel to the ground. Option to stay here or option to continue all the way back. Right arm sweeps up and over. And then spin the hands down and turn to Skandasana on the left. Side lunge to the left. Ground down through the legs, come up through center, and then take side lunge to the right. And come up through center, take up space for our 5-pointed star, and then come into warrior 2 to the back of the mat. Sink down, settle in, keep this knee nice and open. And then flip over the front hand, inhale, reverse, and exhale, spin the hands down, plant them down, and then step the right foot, back to plank, and then come into your side plank. So it's either going to look like this, or like this. Remember not to let this top hip start to tilt backwards. Good. And then inhale to plank. Exhale, coming down through chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Okay, left leg again. So left leg lifts. Bend into the knee, open the hip, and then this is your opportunity to come into wild thing if that's something that you're used to or something that you're working on. You can practice just leaning back, taking that left foot down, coming onto the outside edge of the right foot, and then pushing the hips up. Wild thing. Smooth transition back to three-legged dog. Get low in the hips. Place that left hand down, left leg sweeps up, and then draw it in between the hands. Right hand stays where it is. Inhale, left arm comes up, easy twist. And then taking that transition to twisting lunge, arms coming parallel to the ground, and then you can continue coming to our revolved reverse warrior. Good. Windmill the hands down, bring them to the inside of that left foot, and then spin Skandasana to the left. And Skandasana to the right. And then come up, 5-pointed star. Warrior 2 to the front of the mat. Flip over that front hand. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, spin the hands down, And then your opportunity for a side plank again. So if you want to join me for this transition, you can take peace fingers around your right big toe. Come into your side plank and take the foot with you. And then you're welcome to stay here. Or maybe you push up into the hips and play with straightening through that top leg. Wherever you are, inhale to plank. Exhale, coming down, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. This time, let's exhale into child's pose. So you can take the knees wide and then just sink down. Take some nice grounding breaths here. Alright, begin to come back to our downward facing dog. Just going to practice a few balancing postures before we close out the practice. So one final push. Inhale, sweep right leg up. Exhale, drop it in between the hands. This time keep the back heel lifted, coming up into crescent lunge. Arms up. And then as you exhale, dip that back knee down so it's hovering off the ground. And then inhale, back up. A couple more times. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And then let's come into one-legged Tadasana at the front of the mat. You're welcome to keep this leg bent. Bring your hands to heart center, or you can straighten it out. And then we're just going to tip forward. Bring that leg back. Bring the torso forward. Warrior 3. We'll do that a couple more times, just really playing with the balance. Coming back, standing staff pose, and warrior 3. One last time, standing staff pose. It helps to find something on the ground that's not moving to focus on. Warrior 3, hold it, and then gently begin to bend into that standing leg. See if you can slowly come back into crescent lunge. Good. Hands come down. Take your vinyasa. Good. Second side. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, bring it in between the hands. Coming up for your crescent lunge. Settle in, get nice and low. And then as you exhale, bend that back knee and just bring it to about a centimetre off the ground. And then inhale, straighten it out. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Good. And then coming to stand on the left leg. One-legged Tadasana. Hands come to heart center. You're welcome to keep this knee bent, or you can straighten it out. And we're going to be leaning forward, taking the right leg back. Warrior 3. And coming back up. Do that a couple more times. Warrior 3. Trying to get your torso and your leg parallel to the ground. Keeping all 5 toes of the right foot pointing down so that you know that your hip is square. Pause here. And then slowly begin to bend into this standing leg. And then gently pop that back foot down. Crescent lunge. Good. Hands come down. Final vinyasa. If you want to take it, if you don't, that's totally fine. These are optional vinyasas.
And then set the knees down, coming into embryo pose. So the knees are together as if you're coming into child's pose, but your arms are stretched out behind you. Let them be heavy, palms face up. And then slowly begin to rise, come up onto the knees. Our back bend today will be camel pose, so tuck the toes under. Bring the hands to the lower back. You can either have the fingers pointing up or the fingers pointing down. And then just as you lean back, so we're not leaning back and having a weird angle at the knees. We're going to be leaning back and bringing the back bend into our upper spine. So the hands at the lower back can help you push your hips forward. If this is enough, stay here. If you want to go a little bit deeper, you can come down. Bring your hands onto your heels. Again, always pushing the hips forward. Stay here if this is enough. If you want more, you can untuck the toes. Be really gentle with yourself in these back bends. So don't go any further than is comfortable. And slowly come out. Cross the ankles behind you and then sit back. Bring the legs in front and come down onto your back. Take your arms out to a T. Knees come to a 90-degree angle. Take both knees over to the left. Sorry, over to the right. Look over to the left. If you want a bit more of an intense twist, you can cross your right leg on top of your left. Just helps to kind of draw that left knee down to the ground. Brings a little bit more intensity to the twist. And then both knees come up and over to the other side. So they're coming over to the left and you're gazing over to the right. Try and keep both shoulders down, making contact with the mat. And then if you want a little bit more, you can cross your left leg on top of your right. A little bit deeper into the twist. And then knees come back up through center. Hug the knees into the chest. Lift up your head and just apply a little bit of pressure with the knees into the eye sockets. Really squeeze in, get really small. And then relax into Shavasana. Take the legs out long. Arms come down by the sides. Just lift the shoulder blades up off the mat and set them back down again. Let the feet fall open, palms face up, and settle in. Release through all of the muscles in the body. Close down the eyes. Wiggle out the jaw. Make sure you're not frowning. And I know at this point it's very tempting in online yoga to just hit stop and get up and not take Shavasana, but I really encourage you to, because it's an opportunity for your body to kind of absorb all of the postures and the practice that we've just done. So please give yourselves at least 2 minutes, if not longer. If you want to take a longer Shavasana, you can hit pause. Allow the body to melt into the ground. Heavy limbs, steady breath. just begin to bring some movement back into the fingertips and the toes. And then bring the arms up overhead, full body stretch. Take a big inhale and exhale. And then bend into the knees, roll over onto one side. And use your arm to just gently push you up into a seat. Keep the eyes closed if you can. Come into a comfortable seated position. And we'll take a cleansing breath here. So a deep inhale through the nose. And then open the mouth side out. Bring the hands to heart center. Namaste. Thank you for practicing with me. I think that ended up being more of a 40-minute flow than a 25-minute flow. But I'll be creating more videos for you, so I hope you enjoyed that one.